Welcome to another episode of Rugby F. Now, this week's topic, I figured I'd talk about something that's close enough to me, and it's about getting fit. Now, it's something I've been trying to do for the past couple of years, get fit, lose some weight, and just be healthier in general. So I just thought I'd talk a little bit about what I'm doing, and what I'm doing to lose weight, what I'm doing to get fit, what inspired me, and how it's going now. So I suppose the first question really is, how did I get um, to this? How did I come to the decision that weight loss was necessary and time to get fit, lose weight, and just be healthy? And I suppose it was the kick where it came from when I visited the doctor. I have bronchial asthma. It's not severe, but I do need an inhaler occasionally. And my inhaler had run out, so I needed a new one. So I just went to the doctor, and I just went to the doctor to get a prescription and then leave. But the doctor went through her notes and said, well, yeah, you haven't been for an examination in a while. So she gave me the examination, drew blood, all that stuff. Now, blood-wise, cholesterol was all good, but I was pretty heavy. I was overweight, and she classified me as morbidly obese. And essentially, she said, you're risking diabetes. You have to do something about it. And again, as much as I'm not afraid of needles, the idea of having to stick a needle in my body every day for the rest of my life freaked me out. So I thought, definitely, I've got to do something. So that's when it started for me. So I started going to the gym. Went to the gym, lift weights, did all that stuff. The next day felt like I'd been beat up and then run over with a steamroller. But I kept going, and eventually I stopped going to that particular gym because fees were getting too expensive. So I quit that gym, went to another one. And over the course of all this training that I was doing, the only thing I really noticed was my endurance, because at the start it was very difficult and very hard and tough. But I eventually, your endurance goes up and what you're able to tolerate goes up, and I kept going and I was able to do a good session in the gym. But then the second gym, fees started going up as well. So again, at that stage I thought, fuck it. And I stopped going to the gym altogether. Excuse me. So then things kind of just, I didn't do much in the way of any physical fitness from there, and nothing really much happened until one night I was babysitting for my brother, and he mentioned to me that him and some of his friends were doing the Cork City Marathon. This was in 2011, and he said, we need a fifth. Would you be up for that? And at the time, I was actually laid off from my job. I was laid off for about 6 months, so I was doing nothing at all. So initially I said, fuck no, I'm not. Anything with the word marathon in it, I was like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. Because it sounds exhausting, it sounds like too much effort and so tiring. So I said, no, and he goes, David, don't worry, it's only a leg of the marathon, 4.5 miles. Even that fucking sounded exhausting to me. But again, I was laid off for 6 months, so I thought, why not? Give it a crack. So I started jogging. And then I was introduced to something called Couch to 5K. And basically what Couch to 5K is, it's a running program, I think it's over 9 weeks, that'll get you from, from the couch, literally, the title says it all, from the couch to running 5K. And it does that through slowly. It alternates between walking and jogging. You'll walk for about 5 minutes, jog for 60 seconds, walk for 60 seconds, jog, and so on. And as the program goes along, the walking gets shorter, the jogging gets longer, until in the end you should be able to jog for 30 minutes without stopping, which thankfully I did do. Then the marathon leg came, I did it, and did it in, I think it was 50 minutes. And it was, I was very pleased with that. In fact, what I'll always remember is my brother was there at the finishing line, and he said, what do you think? I said, I want to do that again. Because I was well pleased, because, it was a great achievement, and that was the result. Marathon relay medal. And when I got that, sorry, when I got that, I kind of, it almost became competitive because I was like, well, there's three medals. There's for the relay, the half marathon, and the full. So I thought I won all three. So I decided I'm going to do in 2012, I'm going to do half. That's 13.1 miles, and then in 2013 I'll do the whole damn thing. So I started. So in 2011, after I did the leg, continued on jogging, started upping the training slowly but surely, and eventually in 2012 I did do the half marathon, and I did it in 2 hours 15 minutes. Very, very pleased with that. And like in 2011, this was also the result, the half marathon medal. Very pleased to have gotten that one. But then came the next challenge, even more, which was the whole thing. 26.2 miles, I think it is. So at that stage, I'd start, like, I was kind of, again, even though I'd been doing it a while, I was still kind of a novice in terms of jogging. So I was advised to go see a physio. And, the physio gave me rub down, massage, whatever, and gave me some tips on stretching and how to make the whole process easier. Now, it was actually kind of rather fortunate that I started visiting the physio, because something happened that would require me to have visited the physio anyway. Now, I don't know what exactly it was, but I'd hurt my back, so I wasn't necessarily laid up, I wasn't debilitated in bed, but I was going to miss some sessions, and that kind of bummed me out, because again, I was on good course, I was on track schedule for the training to do the whole marathon. But I rested, and then eventually there was possibility that I might not make the marathon, because again, training is important. When you're going for something as big as a marathon, you need to be fit and ready. No injuries. You need to be fit and ready for it. So once the injury was gone, I started jogging again, and then I went to see the physio, who examined me, gave me the once over. I actually had to do multiple sessions because, again, she wasn't sure herself. But she said, but after I think it was 3 visits, she said, "Don't see why you can't do it." So I did do it, and I was good to go, which was fucking great. So I was good. I was cleared to do the marathon. I actually had to increase the training. I had to compact a lot into a small time because I missed a lot. But I did it, and on the June bank holiday weekend, I did 26 miles. I finished the whole thing. Little intermittent stops, either to use the toilet or just knackered in general because the sun was blazing on that day. It was the toughest run I'd ever done in my life. But I'm glad. But the point is, I finished it. That was always my goal, to finish it. Whether it took me 2 hours, 4 hours, or even 10 hours, I didn't want to stop. I wanted to finish it. Very pleased that I did. And finally, the last one, the whole marathon medal. So I've got all three now, and I'm very, very pleased with that. Couldn't be happier with it. But then something else kind of came to the fore that would really help me a lot, and continues to this day, and has made the biggest difference, right? And jogging, I was getting fit in terms of like the fucking fitness of it, like the endurance and all that. Maybe I was fucking building a bit of muscle, not too much of it. I'm not exactly fit as anything, but I was getting better at it and enduring more. But one factor that was still had yet to be addressed, I didn't do it, was my weight. Now, my brother, was then my brother again, my brother recommended Weight Watchers. And for those that don't know, Weight Watchers is essentially just kind of a group thing, where everyone, you've heard of all these diets where people meet up in groups, they weigh and they share tips. Well, Weight Watchers is kind of like that. But the system, what makes Weight Watchers different from the other systems is it doesn't exclude. Like a lot of diets will say, right, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't eat that, but you can eat this, this, and this. It's too restrictive. It has too many boundaries, too many walls. Whereas all Weight Watchers tell you is, look, you can eat what you like, just eat less of it. It's not excluding. I mean, the way it works is whatever you eat in a day can be calculated using something they call pro points. Like for instance, I'm on 42 pro points a day, which basically means everything I eat in a day has to come under or on 42 points. I can't go beyond that. And if I do, it's fine because fruit and vegetables count for 0. So even if I used up all my 42 points in a day, I can eat as much fruit or vegetables as I like. They count for 0, which is fantastic. So you're never starved. It's a good system. So I started doing that, and slowly but surely, after a while, all the weight started coming off. And you can tell from this picture that I'm about to show you. Now, what it is essentially is just a picture of me, and it's a before and after shot because I've never really been aware of how much weight I've lost until recently. People have been telling me, "Geez, Dave, you're looking all right." But I've only noticed from practical matters, like I've had to put extra notches on my belt. Certain t-shirts are baggy on me now. I've had to buy t-shirts that are of a lesser size, and that's fantastic. That's great. But I never really physically, in terms of looking in the mirror and looking at my body, I never really saw much of a difference until I started looking at some old photos. Now the picture you're about to see is a before and after shot. The picture on the left is what I used to be at my highest weight. I think was maybe close to 18 stone almost. And then the picture on the right is what I am now. And again, the difference is obvious, so take a look. Well, there is a marked difference there. And again, I never really noticed before until I started looking at that picture. Now, it's it's a system. I've already explained that it clearly does work. And to date, I've lost over 2 stone, and I feel better for it. Again, like I'm kind of healthier. Again, when I jog or when I cycle, I cycle everywhere now because I've no motorized transport. My bloody my moped got stolen, but I cycle everywhere now, and that adds to it. And it certainly feels better because the more I cycle, the more I'm not as exhausting. Because again, training and cycling were very exhausting, but they're not anymore because I'm getting fitter and I'm healthier. And that's thanks to a combination of the training and the Weight Watchers. It's fantastic. And my target weight is basically 12 stone, so hopefully I should reach that. I think by the new year. That's the calculation. If my weight loss keeps consistent, I'll be down to 12 stone by January, and I haven't been that in years. Now, people talk to me about what I'm doing and kind of well, why? I mean, the reasons are obvious. Why? I want to be healthy. I want to live long. I don't want to die tomorrow. I want to live a good couple of years. And I'm often asked, about tips. Like even in Weight Watchers now, when I go to meetings, they ask me, the members in the meeting are starting to ask me what tips are. And again, the tips are simple. Just like eat less of a portion. Like keep the portion size down. Eat what you like. That's what Weight Watchers is. Eat what you like. Just keep the portion size small, and you're all right. But in terms of the physical fitness, the best thing is jogging for me at least. And it's best. I mean, one of the great things about it, if the whole fitness thing doesn't kind of grab you in terms of an incentive to jog, here's the best one. It's free. It doesn't cost a damn thing. Because again, I used to go to a gym, prices went up, had to leave. Went to another gym. Well, prices went up, had to leave. It's very expensive these days. And I've noticed a huge marked difference between running on a treadmill and running in the open air. Open air is more difficult. The ground beneath your feet is less predictable, more bumpy. So it's a lot better. And again, endurance is better because if you jog through all sorts of weather, as long as your willpower is good, you'll fucking crash through. You'll do it. So jogging is the best thing in terms of physical fitness. I mean, if you want to go to the gym, fair enough. If you do go to the gym, The number one thing you have to remember is don't just go in and start lifting weights and running treadmill. Again, you go there to do that, but I mean, when I started going, I had no plan, I had no aim in mind. I just started again, I'll run on the treadmill for a little bit, I'll lift some weights, and I'll go home. And it's the wrong approach because any doctor, well, I don't know if it's necessarily a doctor, but any um, physiotherapist or gym instructor will tell you that you don't just go onto the equipment without having some kind of idea. You have to set limits. Like like you go to the gym instructor. The gym instructor is the person to talk to. If you're going to the gym for the first time, you go straight to the gym instructor and just say, "This is what I want to do." And the gym instructor will work out a program and say, right, you should be on the treadmill for this amount of time. You should lift these weights for this many times. And it's a set program. It's good to have a kind of a routine, a set list. If you go in and it's all unpredictable, you could be doing more harm than good. Now, in terms of dieting, it's the same thing. I mean, a lot of people, like, there's all sorts of these things. There's anorexia where you don't eat. There's bulimia where you eat a lot and then throw it up. So the best thing to do in the instance in terms of diet is to just first things first is you look at what you're eating first. You know what your diet is at the moment, and again, once you write down, like, a journal helps. What you can do is like in the Weight Watchers, what we do is we kind of keep a daily journal because we have to keep track of how many points we're eating in the day. But it's good to keep track of what you're eating, so you can look at it at the end of the week and look at what you could cut out, what you could change. But again, consult your doctor or dietitians. There again, these are people who know what's best and what isn't. Don't just hop on the internet and look for diet plans. I mean, the media hypes up a lot of diets. There's Atkins, there's a apparently a diet where you fucking eat nothing but cabbage, and sounds like fucking hell to me because I hate cabbage, right? And then there are these liquid diets where you don't eat at all and you just drink these liquids. And they sound good, but the one thing that all these fad diets share is they're short term. You may lose weight pretty quickly on these diets. And a lot of people make the mistake of once they lose the weight, they think they can go back to old eating habits. That's the thing. You can't do that. Once you're making that decision to lose weight and be healthy, you can't go back and go, right, well, I lost all the weight. Now I'll go back to beer and pizza. Again, those things are fucking lovely, nice in moderation, but you can't return to old ways because it's the old ways that got you to fucking being heavy in the first place. So it's again, just be sensible about it. I've heard about these high protein, low carb diets and stuff like that, and as much as well as just being short term solutions. Another thing they all share is they're very excluding. They tell you can eat as much of this as you like, providing you don't eat this. And again, that's a mistake because it creates temptation, and people might pretend like, oh god, I'd love to eat something, but oh no, the diet says I can't. That's why Weight Watchers is fantastic because again, it doesn't exclude anything. I read something I've got it here that the problem with something like the Atkins diet is just an example, right? A high protein diet, most high protein, low carb diets are the same, and the difference with them and the bad thing with them is they focus too much on fat and protein and cuts out a lot of other healthy stuff, a lot of whole grain foods, this thing says. And it also cuts out a lot of fruit and vegetables, which are the healthiest things on the planet to eat. So it's silly to exclude, because when you exclude, again, as I said, you create temptation, and diets are tougher. Like, I'm not on a diet. When I tell people I go to Weight Watchers, they say, "Oh, you're on a diet," and I'm like, no, because again, a diet to me implies they're telling you what you can and cannot eat. But but again, I showed you the picture. Marked difference. It is working through a combination of cycling, jogging, and eating healthy, eating right-sized portions. I'm doing good. My only regret is I didn't do this years ago. Because again, I'm 33 years old. At the moment, I weigh 14 stone 1 pound, I think it is. Now again, I've lost a lot of weight. When I weighed in at Weight Watchers, I was over 16 stone. So I've lost over 2 stone, as I said, and it's great. I feel the better for it. And I now, having looked at photos and stuff like that, I look the better for it. So again, parting thoughts in regards to is don't, when you're trying to get fit, when you're trying to lose weight and be healthier in general, don't just rush into it. Don't just dive in and make it up as you go along. Consult people. Like, if you have friends who are fitness fanatics, talk to them. If you don't want to talk to a doctor, you don't want to pay to see a physio, um, you can go to the gym. You can go to the gym and talk to the people there. Or again, just the point is be prepared for it, because again, it can be dangerous if you just go in blind and make it up as you go along. So just be safe with it. Is the basic message. Right, well, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to leave any comments, if you want to, feel free to. You want to email me or tweet me. The details are at the end of the credits of this video. So yeah, that's it for now. Take care now. See y'all next week. Bye.